Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the beautiful Nambung National Park here in Western Australia, home of the Pinnacles Desert. Well, as you can see, guys, this is quite an epic foreground location for Milky Way photography. It's probably the most popular one here in WA. It's 2 hours drive from Perth, so it's a great place to come. So I've come up here on a Wednesday night, and what I want to run through with you guys today, it's really simple. We're going to strip back all the star trackers and the astro mods and all the stuff that sometimes gets in the way of getting a really simple, good Milky Way shot. So the purpose of tonight's shoot is we're going to run through the whole plan, how to go out, how to shoot, how to photograph simple Milky Way photography. And guys, it's where else would you rather be? And if you get it right, you know, the foreground does the work for you. So let's go and have a look at some compositions, and I'll run you through my work process. Okay guys, we come across this striking pinnacle. Again, it's on its own, and facing pretty much where you are, maybe slightly more angled round towards me. The Milky Way anyway is going to come from behind and rise in the sky here, the southeast sky, and to the side of it, to the left of the pinnacle as you guys look at it. Again, this is going to be a nice individual pinnacle on its own. I'm going to shoot this in a couple of ways. I'm going to start off with a very simple, my usual go-to, shall we say, photo settings. Sorry, these flies are eating me alive. Simple f2.8, ISO 6400, and a 15-second shutter speed, and that'll be on a 20mm. If it was on my 50mm, then I'd probably using the rule of 500s, which basically means you divide your focal length by 500. The 50mm, I'd have to take that down to a 10-second and probably open the aperture up a little bit to substitute for that lack of light, that 5 seconds. But I'm going to shoot it nice and wide, very similar composition to as you guys are looking at it now. So that simple shoot. Once I've got that correct, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to shoot between 5 and 10. I'm then going to, in post-processing, and I'll do a video on this, I use a program called Starry Landscape Stacker because I have a Mac. I think you can use Sequator on Windows-based computers. And what that does is it will line the sky up from all those shots, and it will give you a cleaner image of your foreground with the noise and obviously the sky, a bit more information in there. I might take that one step further, and I'll run through how I do my light painting. I want to make this one stand out because, as you can see, there are some pinnacles behind me which may or may not clutter the image. I might also light paint them as well. I'm not sure, I'll make that call tonight, but I'm probably going to light them and these little ones around as well, just to fill the frame and to attract your eye to them. So once we've done that, we'll light paint, and that's a very simple construction of an image. And what I'll do is I'll show you, for those guys that have never shot before, I'll show the differences between just one image and what you can do with it, you know, in editing, stacked images, and how much better that is. And that's just very, very simple photography, and it will get you a simple one. It will get you a nice clean image with a background like this. It's going to be epic. So we'll move on. The sun is just set, and I can actually see it just dipping now while it's right on the horizon. So I'm going to go and show you one of the other compositions I've got in mind using leading lines. So this composition here, I don't know if you guys can see it, we've got like kind of the channel from the stone on the right, stone on the left, leading the eye into this gap here. And it just so happens, if you have a look on photo pills now, that the Milky Way core just happens to be rising up between this area here that your eye is drawn to. Now, I'm in two minds about this shoot tonight. If I use the time lapse here or to that other place that we spoke of earlier, so this could make a really nice time lapse. A simple light going across these front two pinnacles, and a simple side light, these pinnacles at the back there. Again, another option which we've got, which is good, and it's good to have compositions and options and things to do here. So a couple of possibilities. However, if I'm just going to photograph it as a normal photo, again, keeping it simple so anyone can come out and do it, I use my standard camera settings, which is 20mm Nikon f1.8 S lens at f2.8. ISO 6400, 15-second shutter speed. and that gives me lots of wiggle room. On this camera it's good. Some of the smaller sensor cameras, by all means, you might want to drop your ISO back a bit, but widen the aperture and let more light in that way. So it'll be the same process. So we'll keep my very basic photo, and I'll show you what that looks like. We can edit it up and show you what it looks like, and then I'll probably shoot somewhere in the region of 5 to 10. And again, as I explained earlier, using Starry Landscape Stacker, I will stack those images together, which will give me a nice clean foreground, a nice clean Milky Way. I'll show you what that image looks like. I then might go one step further, and I'll bring the aperture to about somewhere between f5 and f8, and I could physically go and light paint each of these pinnacles, and then that's another layer that we can put on top, and I'll show that in another film, how I edit those photos, how I edit the light painting onto it. It's an option. But again, we'll keep it really simple, and then we'll build up to something a little more complicated. And every one of those steps along the way, you're going to get a half decent image, especially on location like this. But before we talk camera settings and all this kind of thing, probably the most important thing is to prepare, have a plan, come out, you know, check your composition, check your area, because I guarantee I'm going to come back here in a few hours, it's going to be pitch black. If I haven't marked it on my GPS, I've got absolutely no chance of knowing where this is. So I have marked it earlier, so I know where I'm coming back to. But top tip, when you go to a real dark sky, I think this place hits a Bordel 2 or a Bordel 3, depending on the time of year and depending on the direction you're shooting. Obviously, if you're shooting more towards the northwest, then you've got Cervantes, inland a bit more, you've got Mora, and you do have some light off to the southeast, but it's not too crazy. So we'll see what we get tonight, but it's shaping up really well. So I think what I'm going to do now, I'm going to head back, get some dinner, get freshened up, and next time I see you, we'll be back here under the stars. I'll see you shortly. Alright guys, we made it back, having scouted this area earlier today, and here we are under the stars. And I don't know if you can see behind me, the Milky Way is just starting to rise above the horizon. Looks absolutely amazing. So literally stumbled across this this composition here. Actually, when I was coming back, I've set my time lapse up, and I'll show that to you guys a bit later, where that's set up and how that's running. But I literally stumbled across this. It's 10 meters from where the car was parked, if that. It's a nice gap that follows you through with the sinking eye, a Milky Way behind there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run you through the basics. So I've set my Z6 up here. This is a non-astro modified, it's just a regular Z6 with a 20mm 1.8 Nikon f1.8s lens on there. And that's set to my usual f2.8 ISO 6400 15-second shutter speed. So what I'm going to do, I'll turn this light off in a minute. And we'll take the shot. We'll get the Milky Way, and we'll get a nice silhouette of the the pinnacles. And that's our first. That's kind of our base exposure in which we build the rest of the shoot on. So I'm going to kill the light now. All right, guys, I'm going to bring you in here. Now I don't know what you can see in the camera. You might kind of spoil. So at the moment, I've got the 2-second delay. So I'm going to take the shot now. You see that little green light comes on, does the 2-second delay, kills the light now. So wait, it'll take the 15-second shot. And then once that 15-second shot has happened, that will give us the our baseline image for the shot. Here we go. And I don't know if you guys can see that on there, but we can see the core. I'm not sure what we can see on there, probably not a lot, to be honest. So let me explain what we're looking at here, and what I'll do is I'll use the final edit to show you, or the final image, well, not the final image, but this image to show you. So how I set the camera up, it's very simple. The lens is in manual focus, and I focused on the stars in the background, get them tack sharp. Now, a trick with these S lenses, Nikon S lenses, but you still got to check them, is you can put them onto autofocus, switch the camera on, they will automatically focus to infinity. Then you flick across to manual, you take a test shot, and you just check that you've got stars and everything in focus. So as you can see there, quite happy. Everything is in focus. It certainly looks that way on the back of the screen, ready to go. The full of the Milky Way core is just starting to show over the horizon. So what we could do now, we've got an option here, and this composition, what we'll do is we'll take 5 shots, and that will give us a nice base ground to stack these images and to provide what we'd call noise reduction. You stack the images on top of each other and the noise goes. So what we'll do, we'll just take 5 shots now. I'm not going to sit you there and make you see all 5 shots, but we'll take 5 shots now, and I'll come back once they're done and we'll work out the next piece. Okay guys, so you're probably seeing now on screen the result of the 5 images that we just shot. So with those 5 images, we basically put them in Starry Night Landscaper software. That's what I use on a Mac. I think Sequator is the equivalent on Windows, same thing. So what that does is it aligns the sky. So as you can see, if I show you now the 5 individual shots, you'll see that the Milky Way is slightly moving behind each time. So every image, every 15 seconds, the sky has moved. That's how you get star trails. Sorry, well, it's not the sky that's moving, it's the Earth is moving through the sky. So what we've got to do is we'll use the Starry Night Landscaper to bring them back into one position, and then that's our final image, which we can use for editing. Now as you can see, that image itself, it's clean. We've got rid of a lot of the noise by layering, and it's now ready to be edited and played with, and it's a really good foundation. Now a lot of people leave it at that, and there's absolutely no reason to go any further unless you really want to. But for me, for my own creativity, as you can see in those photos, the pinnacles are a little bit dark. Well, they're very dark, they're silhouetted, okay? We've exposed for the light in the sky, and everything else has fallen dark. So what I like to do, and again, it's not hard, is we just take it to the next step. How do I light paint these images? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to kill that light, and I'm going to light paint them just on one image, just to see what that looks like, and then I'll show you another method that we do. But before I do that, I'm just going to show you guys my light painting torch. Now this is a real cheap nasty torch that I got in Kmart, believe it or not. Now as you can see, my blue light there, that's your normal cold colour light. So with this, going back to my portrait work days, I've put a CTO gel in there, colour temperature orange. And then I've also added a slight yellow filter in there. Now, well, the reason I've done that is when I put these light painted images into Photoshop, I really like to get sometimes a nice warm colour, but sometimes you get a real nice golden colour, and that's the orange and the yellow combining in the filter there. So that's what I've done, and I've just jimmy rigged it, a couple of elastic bands. In fact, I think this was a filter from a flash, an old flash I had, and I just used the elastic band to hold the filter over the light, and it just gives you that warm glow. But what that allows you to do is to play with the color balance in Photoshop, and you can really light these nice. So look what I've done. I'm gonna be upfront with you guys, I'm cheating. I am using a little wireless remote here, and that's only because I'm on my own and I'm running cameras and I'm running this, and it's just easy to do on your own. Ideally what you could do is you can put it on continuous shoot, same settings, and then you just light paint in between each shot. Sorry, not the same settings, I'll tell you a lie. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to stop my aperture down to about f7, f8, something like that. And I'm going to go around taking individual shots, light painting these pinnacles in the foreground behind me with the CTO torch. And I'll take as many shots as I need, the more the merrier. And I'll work my way around systematically, always side lighting on to the shot, side lighting to the camera. and then later on in Photoshop we'll blend all them together. So what we've got is we don't need to refocus. So at the moment these pinnacles are a little bit soft because we're focusing to infinity, but when I bring that aperture back to f8, it's actually going to make everything a lot sharper and in focus as well, because obviously the depth of field is a lot greater at f8 than it is at f2.8 where we're currently shooting. So it's going to make this nice foreground a lot sharper and clearer in the image. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run around and light paint everything, and then I'll share the final image with you guys and see what you think. Just a simple couple of steps, 3-step process to get really good images. I'll kill the light and we'll get on with it. Well, good morning everyone. It's now approaching 5:30 in the morning of what's been a really epic night of shooting basic Milky Way photography. So I did manage to get another 2 or 3 compositions in. As I say, didn't really film too much, especially with the light, because I'm very aware of the other photographers that were working and what they were doing. I didn't really want to drown their photos out with light. Did have a good catch up with them actually. Lovely group of people. They're over from Singapore. They're experiencing WA, Western Australia, and they're out shooting various different locations. So yeah, it was good. Really good night. So at the moment I can just see the sun starting, well, not the sun itself, but the light from the sun starting to appear on the east horizon here over this little hill to the right of me there, to the left of you guys. So that sun's coming up, which is good. We've got still at the day to night time lapse running up the top there, so I think I might use this opportunity. We'll head up there and we'll have a look at it, explain the setup. Again, it's using the same very simple Milky Way principles that we spoke about today in this shoot. Obviously a little bit different with the time lapse doing its thing, but the actual photographs are taken the same way. So we'll go and see what it's doing, and then we'll have a look at we'll have a look at the time lapse, and that will probably be it for this video. So let's make our way up there. Well, here we go folks, we are over at the time lapse, and as you can see that sun's really starting to come out behind us. So down here on the floor I've got the Nikon Z6 with the 16mm Viltrox lens. I also have the little battery pack on the bottom of this for the Z6. That allows me to put an extra battery into that camera. And just for context, so this has been running since 11 o'clock last night. It's depleted one of the batteries and the second battery is only used 25%. So that's not bad for a whole night's time lapse. You know, we're getting on for 7-8 hours there, so that's really good. Is that right? Yeah. No, maybe a bit less than that. Maths isn't too good at this time in the morning. So yeah, very pleased with this. It's in aperture priority mode, and that's set to f2.8. So for the whole of these images, the aperture will always be at f2.8. Now, relating that back to our simple photography that we've done tonight, the shutter speed is set for a maximum of 15 seconds. The ISO is set for a maximum of 6400. And what that is, that's my go-to, as I've explained, my go-to Milky Way settings for these cameras and lens combinations. I've actually allowed 19 seconds in between shots, and what that does is that gives it a little buffer, which it doesn't need, in fairness, but it's handy to have it there, and it keeps it smooth as the shutter speed, as the length of the exposure shortens. Now it's getting brighter, it still keeps that smooth transitions of a shot, one shot every 19 seconds, which also helps with editing and putting it on a 24 frames per second timeline. So happy with that. See over here to my right, or to the right, is a little Ulanzi video light. That's actually on 1%. It's probably not doing a great deal now as the sun's coming up, but what that did is throughout the night, it's just added a little pop of light to this pinnacle. In the same way we were light painting our pinnacles earlier, this is just a continuous form of that. But as I say, it's on 1%, and the reason it's on 1% is purely because if anything more than that, that pinnacle would blow out with the highlights. Instead of getting a nice warmish glow off of it, it would be bright and blown and wouldn't look good. So always got to keep an eye on your video lights whenever you use them. Less is generally more. Okay, so guys, that really sums up this simple Milky Way shoot. I hope you've got lots at home for that. I hope you've learnt lots, and I hope, more importantly, that you guys can just get out with a camera and tripod and a torch. That's all you need. Get out, get some photos, give it a try for yourself, find some landscapes. I mean, I am spoilt for this. This is an epic landscape, but there's plenty of stuff. Get out there, find a tree, whatever it is, and get those basic, simple Milky Way shots. You'll find this elevates your portfolio, and it allows you creative freedom to get something good without worrying about trackers and alignments and different apps to work out where the celestial poles are, etc. You don't need any of that. I mean, it helps, don't get me wrong, but you can still get good photos. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up now. We'll leave you guys with the time lapse. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming with me on another astro adventure, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.